Welcome to another Reno Ukulele Festival artist interview. We are here with Bernadette Plazola, who is going to be teaching with us this year. Welcome, Bernadette.
Thank you so much for inviting me. I'm nervous and excited to be a part of the lineup.
And this is your first time at Reno
Yeah,
Ukefest, right?
yeah.
Have you ever been to Reno before?
No, this will be my first
Ah.
time too.
For those of you watching at home, I have a few questions I'm going to be asking Bernadette, and this is just a chance for you to get to know her a little bit. A lot of her workshops are going to be focused around beginning students. So if you're watching at home and you're feeling like this is your first Uke Fest, you're not sure what to expect, or you're worried that some of the workshops might be over your head, just know that we have a room that is going to be dedicated to level 1 and level 1-2. And if you fit into that category, then you'll probably be taking a lot of Bernadette's classes. So, Bernadette, who are you?
Well, I'm Bernadette Plazola, and I live in the American Southwest. I live in the desert of California. Right now, our summers are reaching over 105 degrees Fahrenheit.
Uh,
Yes. I live out in the country desert with my chickens and dogs and cats and my family.
Uh-huh.
And I actually went to school for music education. That is my background. I have a master's degree in education as well, designing curriculum. And then I went off to teach marching band, concert band, and the elective class, instead of making it a music appreciation class or a recorder class, I opened it up to ukulele classes. And that's kind of where the passion started for ukulele because so many of the students going through those elective classes were not supposed to really ever play an instrument. It was just an elective class they had to check off their curriculum. And we found so many musicians that should have been musicians, should have been in the band program. And so I
Wow.
grabbed all these kids that, just had a passion for learning music. And I realized that really it's not how much time you've had with an instrument, it's like your attitude. Are you teachable? Are you excited to learn? And so the band grew in size so quickly because we were finding all of these musicians through the ukulele class. And then I went off to teach in Japan. I was in Japan for 4 years. I taught at a private school in Japan. It was immersion based, so some of the subjects were taught in English and some in Japanese. And I took my ukulele teaching philosophy with me over there and started teaching the children the ukulele. And I knew that I wouldn't be in Japan forever, so I started a YouTube channel so that they could continue doing the lessons with me. What I never expected was for strangers to watch the channel and make requests of what they wanted to learn too. And I realized like, wait, there's all these people who are first-time musicians, or maybe they played an instrument a long time ago and left it and want to come back into music somehow. And so those are the people that started gravitating towards my channel. And when I left Japan to come back to America, I decided to go all in on my channel and created challenges. They're called challenges, but really they're courses, where like the 30-day uke challenge, day one is like how to hold it. Where do I put the hands, and
Yeah.
how do I tune it? What is each string called? And why does a G move up to an A? Or all of these little questions, where does the thumb go? How do I tilt it? Just all of these little nuances that could be explained in an in-person lesson. I tried to, imagine my students in front of me as I made those lessons and what questions they might have. And the channel just kind of took off. So that's who I am. That's what I do.
Yeah, and that's on like what, YouTube,
hmm
Facebook, Instagram?
I started it off on YouTube, and then I realized that short form content was taking off. And when you work online, there's this pressure to like keep up with the times, and so I started making vertical content and saw that those were getting lots of views, like a quick short lesson, like let's learn how to play with this song with these four chords and this strumming pattern. Let's go.
Yeah.
So I started doing those, and YouTube was more dedicated for a longer lesson. And while it seems like people's attention span has gotten shorter and shorter and shorter throughout the years as we watch more content, some of my most successful videos on YouTube are 40 minutes long or an hour long because I
Yeah.
think people still like, just pushing play, sitting down, and relaxing into a lesson.
Well, it's nice that you have both because I know myself, I watch 40-minute long or I listen while I'm doing
Mm,
other things. I feel
yeah.
like I like to hang out with the person.
Yeah.
Some of the content can be so chopped up and cut up and it doesn't feel
Yeah.
natural. You don't even hear someone have a breath,
Right.
So, but at the same time, sometimes you just need to get right to the point and
Right.
you want to learn something, you've got 20 minutes to do it and you just want to practice it.
Right.
So that's cool
Right.
that you've got both forms.
Yeah, yeah, I've leaned into what I've seen people respond to. And so often I've encountered other musicians who have wanted to make a YouTube channel and they say, but like, I don't want to teach that or I don't want to teach this. And it's like, well, it's not for you. It's for the audience. And so
Yeah.
you have to, in a way, like humble yourself and say, what are people looking for? And am I willing to provide it?
I think you do that really well too when you watch Bernadette's videos. You've got a really gentle, soft way of presenting the material, and I guess knowing that you have that educational background makes all the sense and difference. But I think that it goes beyond that with you. In my impression, is that you've got a real natural, compassionate quality, and like you just said, you're doing it to help others.
Hmm.
And when you and I were chatting on the phone, and you were saying that you had been teaching kids in Japan, and you used a reference about the mouse in the house,
Yeah.
and you said it was so fun that like adults, it turns out adults and retirees loved that kind of teaching too. Because,
Right.
but tell me a little bit about that. What was the mouse in the house situation?
So, yeah, let me reach for an ukulele. When I hand people an ukulele for the first time, like, well, one, it's exciting, right? Like, yeah, we're gonna play. But the question is how to position the fretboard hand. And I like calling it fretboard hand because I have lefty players.
Ah,
So I'll call it fretboard hand and strumming hand. But when I want to teach online because I can't see their hands, I'm concerned about people that may have carpal tunnel syndrome or rheumatoid arthritis, and I don't want to make any of those conditions worse. And so, one of the ways that I can prevent and maybe even have a therapeutic angle to the music is to have the thumb not choke the instrument. Because if we choke the instrument, you might be putting pressure on your wrist in a way that creates tension up the arm, even into the shoulder and the neck. So I always say, like, I'll say things like Lego hand, those little Lego dolls that have the hand shaped like this. So I'll say, or hit the like button on the back of your neck. And then I ask them to make a house for a mouse where if a mouse fits in here, then you're good. You have that curved hand. But if your thumb is all the way up, you'd squish the mouse. And so you have no mouse in that house. So I do that, and then the other thing that I do with my beginners to explain like what part of the fingers to use is that I'll put dots on the exact parts of the fingers where I want them to press, and then I put dots where I don't want them because it's so natural for us to use this part of our fingers when we press anything that sometimes we come to the ukulele wanting to press with this, but when we do that, we mute the other string. So then I do little visual things like this with well, I was doing them with kids, but it turned out that everyone likes them. So yeah.
that's what I found too. I taught all the way down to age 5 and all the way up to age 95. And I found that, yeah, across the board, the older adults, they like that. They respond really well to
Hmm.
just simple and to the point, even though they want to ask bigger questions like, why should we do this? Can
Hmm.
I do this? All these things that kids don't ask. But I
Hmm.
think the way that you present it is
Hmm.
very relatable and
Thank you.
approachable for people.
Thank you. Thank you.
Hmm.
Yeah, I think that's an important part of teaching music and especially teaching adults because adults are so good at everything that they have to do in their day. They're good at brushing their teeth. They're good at, everything that they have to do. So like starting from scratch on something new can make people feel really vulnerable. And sometimes like they'll be hard on themselves, like, oh, this doesn't sound good. This is buzzing. This is muted. They see everything wrong. So I try to make it feel more relaxed and enjoyable and focusing on the things we are doing right. Everyone is a musician. They just haven't found the ukulele yet. That's my main philosophy. That's something that I saw, that I learned really through teaching, because I used to be a band director, and as a band director, I was teaching the kids that, either their parents chose music, but they were in it and they had talent. And then when I started opening up the ukulele to the elective classes and seeing like, wait a second, like there are musicians everywhere. It's just that they need to find an instrument that they enjoy. And with the ukulele, even in the elective classes, I presented two methods for them and asked them to choose the one they enjoyed most. One was more of the strumming route, and the other one was more the finger picking route. And so I learned, like, we all have it in us to be a musician. We just need the resources. So in learning that, I thought everyone can be a musician, and it's just about me as a teacher learning how to teach that person to make it accessible for them and help them reach their goals.
I think that's so special. I've spoken with so many retirees who are in their 70s, and I ask them, like, what's your music learning experience? So many times they would say, oh, well, I had a teacher that told me I had stupid fingers, or I did piano for a little while, but I wasn't any good at it. Or my sister told me I should stop singing, and so I haven't sung in 50 years. Having a teacher, I know, doesn't it just, and I just
Yeah.
went, oh, it makes me so angry to think that that teacher chose the wrong profession. They should have
Hmm.
been doing something else. And
Hmm.
those scars last, I mean, they're so
Yeah.
deep and
Yeah.
embedded, especially in childhood. It becomes
Right.
um, personal philosophy of, I'm not good at this. I'm not a
Hmm.
musician.
Hmm.
But I love what you're saying. Maybe everybody's a musician. Like,
Hmm.
and meeting somebody like you, it gives them a chance to go, well, maybe I can try, because I'm not
Hmm.
going to be ridiculed for it, all the bad things.
Hmm.
Instead, I'm going to be presented with this feeling of hope from the beginning,
Hmm.
and just calm down. Like, let's learn it slowly. You'll have
Yeah.
fun.
Yeah, yeah, definitely, definitely. And
Yeah.
we as teachers have to be careful, because everything we say can become our students' inner voice, and we have to be careful with what we say. Hmm.
That's a really powerful statement.
Hmm.
Wow. Well, on that note, what will you be teaching at Reno this year?
I'm so excited. Okay, so it's it's challenging for me as a teacher to know what to teach at an event that I haven't been at yet. So I'm hoping that with the variety of workshops, that there will be something for everyone. So, finger picking for beginners will teach you how to use each finger independently for the songs that are beautiful and iconic. And we'll start super slow. My music teacher used to say tempo de lerno. So we start super, super slow and just teaching you where to position the fingers and how to hold the finger picking hand. And I like to give the example of like, if you're holding like a phone or a bottle and your thumb is slightly angled upwards and your other fingers are more parallel to the ground, that's kind of the position we bring to the finger picking hand. And so I'll go into more detail. But instead of playing something like Can't Help Falling in Love with Strumming, which is still beautiful, being able to learn how to do this and other picking patterns, but we'll start with the basics. And then a campfire ukulele, just 10 songs that you can play with four chords. This workshop is going to feel more like a jam session, because we're going to play through several songs. The goal here is to build up your repertoire, so that if somebody says, "Oh, you play ukulele, can you play me a song?" It's not like that frozen moment. You'll have a few songs to turn to, like, "Oh yeah, here you go." So it's really just to build up your repertoire in case you ever get asked that question, or if you have that yearning to like jam with family or friends or at an event and you just want to have some songs in your pocket, then that's the workshop for you. And then strum it like you mean it, adding volume, rhythm, and feeling to songs. Oftentimes, a little bit of feedback for my ukulele friends is that as a teacher, I get asked the question, what's the strumming pattern for a song? As if the strumming pattern should be played from the beginning to the end. And while it's fun when you're the one playing, when there's a listener and they have a monotonous thing to listen to, it's not really exciting. However, if you add pauses, stops, and louds and you build, it's much more exciting to listen to. So we're going to transform a song by adding those little nuances that are
Nice.
not really that much work. And it does make it funner to play. And then we're going to talk about finger choreography in another workshop on changing chords smoothly. So if you've ever felt challenged like switching from C to G or even something like A to E, how do these switches, how do we train our fingers to do these switches better? And how do we train our hand? The changing chords smoothly is going to be more of a deep dive into how to learn so that when you walk away from the workshops, you have the tools to teach yourself any other chord transition. I like to call my lessons like grocery shopping. When you go grocery shopping, do you expect to cook at the grocery store? No. So I'm giving you all of the groceries for you to be able to walk away and cook.
Yeah.
So, yeah, changing chords smoothly we call finger choreography, and we have this thing called shadow playing where we stop using the strumming hand to just train the switch back and forth and finding some anchor fingers, what fingers are in common, or if there's a chord switch like G to D where you're like, I have no fingers in common, how do you use mindfulness to remind yourself your thumb is a finger that is not moving? So we'll go more deep into that conversation. And with my, unlike this interview, with my lessons, I like to keep the students doing because I think if a lesson is too chatty, it can be boring. So we'll be moving and playing throughout the whole class.
Great.
And then the last one is beginner basics of reading tab and playing chord melody. I think it's just so fun when you can have your ukulele sing by itself. So I'll teach you how to read tab and how to play some basic techniques, like something called a hammer on, where you bring a finger down without picking and make a noise or a sound, slides, and how to read chords in tab. And maybe we'll do a little bit of Pink Panther. So those are the workshops that I'm planning on doing. However, my experience teaching has shown me that sometimes as a teacher we make a plan and the class isn't working, so you have to change course. So we will adapt as needed based on the students in the class and on the questions that you have as students. And yeah, I'm just hoping to be there as a service to you, to anything that I can do to help you in your journey of learning and answering questions.
I love the way you describe your workshops, and I'm as a teacher, I'm listening, going, "That's going to be perfect. That's going to be perfect
Okay.
for someone who knows some basic chords and
Mm,
wants to go further."
mhm.
But we get insecure so easily. So if you're listening at home and you're going, "This might be over my head," it will not be. I can guarantee you. Bernadette will be there too, hanging out. She's going to have an artist table with things for sale and stuff, so you can always go over and ask questions.
Mhm.
But yeah, I love your philosophy. I love your workshops.
Thank
And
you.
I've been involved with this festival for like 12 years or something. So,
Mhm.
Bernadette sent us a lot of workshops to choose from, and Perry and I went through and feeling pretty secure that this is going to be things that you guys want to learn. It sounds awesome. Before we get to the last thing, I just wanted to ask you, you play ukulele, but you play some other instruments, don't you?
Yeah, my major was in saxophone, so I'm a
Yeah.
sax player.
And you
Mhm.
have some guitar workshops or like videos online too.
Yes. Yeah, so when I started the channel, I titled it Bernadette Teaches Music because I thought I was going to teach other teachers. So for anyone who's watching this and you're an educator and you want to see how I teach beginners, you're also more than welcome to come to the workshops and also give me feedback because sometimes the best feedback comes from other teachers and principals. But yes, I've started adding more. I have pedagogy in the channel, like how to teach. And then ukulele, I have years of content. And now this year I've been building up the guitar content on the channel.
Yeah.
And there really is no limit on what other instruments I may add in the future as I see my own Daniela growing and she is interested in instruments. I may add classes for kids and some simple hand instruments onto the channel. So we'll see where it goes.
Is that your daughter's name?
Yeah.
Daniela? Aw,
Yeah.
well chosen.
Yeah, yeah.
Are you by chance going to be bringing your saxophone to
I think
Reno?
I am. I
Oh,
think I
nice.
am because I like once my students have learned a song to play saxophone over it so that we have that ensemble feel.
Yeah.
So I may ask you to borrow a ukulele so that I can travel with the sax.
Yeah, yeah, we can
Mhm.
definitely make that happen. And this will be awesome because a couple of years ago, Little Rev came, and he'll be here this year. And the last night is going to be Little Rev's headlining, and then a big all-star jam, kind of a
Nice.
show. So I was going, oh gosh, I hope Bernadette's bringing her saxophone because that's
Yeah.
just going to kill it. All right, well, we've come to the end where I ask you, do you have any upcoming events, festivals, online classes,
Hmm.
materials, or products that you're launching or hoping to, just want to let us know about?
Yeah, every year in September I do a 30-day like challenge or course. And so this year in September is going to be a worship music course. So for anyone who's been interested in playing in their church and wants to build up a repertoire of worship songs, Christian songs, that's what's coming this year in September. So I'm super excited about that.
Okay.
And then two courses have launched this year already. One is the guitar scales course, learning the fretboard, major scales. And right after that's done, it's going to be the ukulele one so that you can learn your major scales on your ukulele. And we're going all the way up to the 14th fret. So that way you can learn how to use the entire fretboard. I heard, I think it was Tara from the London Youth Project said, you paid for the whole fretboard, might as well use it.
Yeah.
So
Like that.
yeah. So those are some of the courses. And then there's also one of the videos that's been really successful this year is 20 easy children's songs. And it comes with a PDF with all of the songs, and the font is massive. So that if you're teaching someone that's really young and they just need simple pages, then that's already made on the PDF. So those are a few things that have been really exciting on the channel this year.
Okay, and are these things that they go to your website to purchase, or are they on your YouTube channel?
All of the courses are free and they're on Bernadette Teaches Music. And if you would like the companion PDFs, you can either go to my website, bernadetteteachesmusic.org, or if you're a Patreon member, you get it for free. All of the hundreds, maybe thousands of pages that I've made for Patreon members, they're all free and they're all accessible there. So patreon.com/Bernadette Teaches Music.
That's great. Yeah, Patreon is an amazing platform for artists of all mediums.
Mhm.
They can, if you haven't heard of it, Patreon, you'll hear probably a few of our teachers coming in, probably have a channel. And it's just a great way to create a little community online that's not just social, like the big social world. It's like a little smaller group, people sign up for it. And you can also house different products and things that you want to have
Mhm.
all put into one place.
Yeah.
So that's a really awesome option.
Yeah, yeah.
All right. Well, thank you so much for taking the time and meeting with us. It's us. It's me. Perry's in the other room. But it's nice to meet you. Uh,
Nice to meet
and
you too.
we're really looking forward to having you join us this year.
Thank you. Thank you for inviting me.
Yeah. All right. Well, those of you watching at home, if you haven't gotten your ticket yet, we still have about 40 tickets left.
Mhm.
Ticket sales have been higher than usual this year and sooner than usual. So we do anticipate selling out, which is pretty fantastic.
Amazing. Amazing.
And so we'll see you at the next artist interview.